What's up, y'all? This is Zach Orr here at songsandguitar.com. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to play The Bones, which is written and performed by Maren Morris with her co-writers Jimmy Robbins, who has pretty much co-written with everyone in Nashville, and Laura Vetz. This song is pretty simple. There's just two sections of this song, or two parts, and I'm going to go over those for you right now. Some of these chords might be a little bit foreign to some of you, especially during the verse. There's some simplified chords where instead of making the chord more complicated by adding like extensions to a chord to make it more lush, they subtract notes, and that also has a similar effect, ironically. I guess let me just play this part, the parts for you first. So that's the verse section, or what I'm going to call the A section. This is a G with no fifth. And so you're going to put your first finger on the 10th fret on the 5th string, and then your pinky or your third finger on the 12th fret on the B string. And then the way you do this is you're going to just pluck 5-2, 5-2, and then you switch to the next chord. So, and then we're switching down here to the next chord. Same exact picking pattern. So for that one, it's first finger, 5th fret, 5th string, and then pinky or third finger on the 7th fret, 2nd string. 5-2, 5-2 in terms of the picking. And when I say that, I'm calling out the string numbers, not the frets. If I were you and you're not really familiar with those chords, I would just practice kind of going back and forth between those two, because it's a pretty quick change. Now, some of you who may be Beatles fans, who maybe heard of a song by the Beatles that's about a bird, might be familiar with that chord, but a lot of you may have never really played that chord voicing before, so it might feel a little foreign. But after you sit with it for a while, it won't be bad. All right, let's move on to the second pair of chords here. So for this one, these are what I would call like a Dave Matthews style chord voicing, very, very popular with the DMB in the 90s. So second finger is going up onto the top string, the 6th string at the 7th fret. Third finger is on the 3rd string at the 7th fret. And you're going to pick just the strings that those fingers are on. So it's going to be 6-3, 6-3. And then take your second finger off, move your third finger to the 6th fret on the 3rd string, put your first finger down on the 5th fret on the top string, and then it's the same picking, 6-3, 6-3. So let's try that change again. If I'm calling out the frets, it'd be 7-7, 7-7, 5-6, 5-6. Once again, if you're not really comfortable with those chord shapes, I would just take some time and just bounce back and forth between those. Really, that's a great way to practice guitar in general. Like most of the time when you play a song that's got some chords that you haven't played before, you're going to need to do that. Just going back and forth between the new chord and maybe a chord you know, or between two new chords, right? So the whole A section of that song sounds like this. If you listen to the song, it's a very modern production. There's not really a strumming pattern. These are like hits. The whole band is kicking on, like D over F sharp, G, A, B minor. And so there's not like, we're breaking down an entire band song onto one instrument, right? You can try it that way with the very, very simple strumming each chord. and it's going to sound good. You could also start to vary it a little bit. But so let's go through these chords. The first one is just a D chord, but it's got an F sharp in the bass. And that's actually just an inversion of a D chord, because a D, the first note in D on the highest note, I should say, is F sharp. We're just taking that F sharp that's up on the very top of the chord and putting it in the bass underneath it. So the way you do that, it's going to be second finger, first string, second fret. Third finger, second string, third fret. First finger, third string, second fret. And then your thumb comes up over the top. And when that happens, you want your thumb to actually just touch, just graze the fifth string, the A string, so it's muted. Now by itself, that sounds pretty bad, right? But you don't hear it in the context of the chord. You want that to happen though, because otherwise it sounds like this, which is just a little murky. We will hear the low notes in a chord as the bass, and when we have a G, or sorry, an F sharp in the bass and then also A, it just sounds a little bit dissonant, so you want to kind of just mute the A. Sounds like that. So then the next chord, I'm going to leave my third finger down, and then put your pinky on the first string at the third fret. Second finger's coming all the way up to the top onto the third fret, so you're on the sixth string at third fret. First finger's going to the fifth string at the second fret. That's just a G chord. Some people like to call that G add D, but that's not really cool, because G chords always have a D in them. So it's just another voicing of a G chord. A voicing is just the way a chord is played, right? So here's a G, here's G, here's G, here's G. So all of those are G, but some people like to call that G add D. I'm just gonna call it modern G. Up next we have A. So A major, you can play this two ways. I'll show you both. Third finger, second string, second fret. Second finger, third string, second fret. First finger, fourth string, second fret. And then you're gonna play 5 strings. Sounds like that. Another way that you can play that is by using your first finger to just bar across the second fret. But if you do that, don't hit the first string, because it would sound like this, which is not really the chord. So just play the middle 4 strings. Some people like to bend their finger so they get this kind of like double jointed action happening. That's really not good for your joints and your hand. And generally, I'm a lot more laid back than most guitar teachers in terms of the way you play a chord. The only time I'm gonna tell you no on something, if you just really like playing a chord a certain way, as long as it sounds right, I'm okay. But except in the case of if it's gonna actually physically hurt you, which over time, if you play that A that way, it's gonna start to damage your finger. So don't do it that way. Last but not least, we have the chord that is gonna be a little challenging for beginning guitar students. This is B minor. Now B minor is a bar chord. Maybe some of you have tackled bar chords already, it's no problem. So for you guys, let's go through this. First finger is going across the second fret from the first string all the way up to the fifth string. Second finger goes onto the second string at the third fret. Pinky goes onto the third string at the fourth fret. And third finger goes onto the fourth string at the fourth fret. You're going to play 5 strings and it would sound like this. Nice full B minor chord. Now, for those of you who are still learning, trust me, I understand. Like, I have tons of guitar students that basically bar chords are like the bane of existence of beginning guitar students, right? So typically what happens is they're learning a song and out of nowhere there's an F in the song. And then they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna learn that song. I'm not gonna play F. And B minor or B is another one of those chords. I would encourage you to just grin and bear it and get it done, all right? Because they're not going anywhere. They're in a bunch of keys that are really popular for guitars. And so you just need to learn them. It's going to take a little while for your hand to be able to play them, especially if you're just starting out. Steel string acoustic guitar is actually one of the more challenging instruments to just be able to play multiple strings at a time with one finger. Don't worry, practice some scales, practice some finger exercises, and just try to build up the strength in your hand, and you'll get it. But for those of you, if you just really want to play this song and you can't really bust out the bar chord yet, here's some alternatives for you. First one is just a B minor triad. So a triad's just a 3-note chord. First finger is going on the first string, 2nd fret. Second finger is going on this 2nd string, 3rd fret. Third finger is going on the 3rd string, 4th fret. So you're going to play the bottom 3 strings only. Now, I personally don't like the way this sounds in the progression because all of a sudden the bass is gone. So like, take a listen. So it sounds real thin, right? So another option would be to play a B power chord. Okay, so a power chord is it's really just 2 notes, but one of the notes is doubled up. So your first finger is going to the 2nd fret on the 5th string. Your 3rd finger is going to the 4th fret on the 4th string, and then your pinky's going to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And you just play those 3, so strings 3 through 5, and then at least you're getting that bass. You do lose the top end of the chord though, so take a listen to the way this one sounds. But I tend to like that a little bit better than this one as far as the options go. But obviously the best way is the full B minor. Straight up, you're going to play that chord progression. D over F sharp, G, A, B minor. You do that 3 times, and then the last one, which leads back into the verse, is D over F sharp, G, then just A. 1, 2, 3, 4, bum ba 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 ba, and then you're back in. So you may have noticed, like sometimes I'm doing a little thing that kind of sounds like this. I'm exaggerating it a little bit right now just so you can hear it, but I'm kind of slapping the strings. All that's doing is just like trying to emulate a snare drum on beat 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I tend to do that kind of without even thinking about it. Just as if I'm accompanying myself, I like to have a little rhythm there. It adds a little bit of a groove. But yeah, that's that whole song. Thank you guys very much for checking out this tutorial. If you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you hate it, just tell me. Tell me what's up. Why do you hate it? No, but if you want to hear some more from me in the future, go ahead and like and subscribe for more songs and guitar.